Hi, this is Lorraine, and I'm here to do another video. If you'll give me just a second to clear, center, and balance my energy, and then we'll get started. So I thought I was going to get this weekend off again, but no, last night just messages started coming in, and they're like, tomorrow you need to do a video. So here I am. The information that came in, very strong and very definitive, and what it said was you need to explain how the divergence of the negative and the positive polarity is going to affect the outcome, and how the divergence of the negative and the positive polarity is affecting the collective consciousness. So a deeper explanation of the collective consciousness and how that divergence is going to affect the future outcome of planet Earth, of Mother Earth. And inadvertently, it will also explain what will eventually come to be the results of the presidential election in the United States. So I'm not going to talk specifically about the outcome of the election, although I have discussed that in previous videos. What's most important is to discuss how this divergence of the collective consciousness is affecting and will affect Mother Earth from this point forward through tribulation, transcendence, and then the evolution of Earth and life on this planet, on this world. So, in the past videos, I've said the negative and the positive polarity are diverging, and the positive and the negative polarities are diverging, and the collective consciousness prior to this transition and tribulation was connected. So the positive and the negative polarities were working together. I guess you could say against each other also, but the consciousness of planet Earth as a whole was working together to direct this world, the energy in this world, the events in this world. And so I'm going to use a metaphor, a prayer. Many people pray, and so when you have people ask you to pray for an individual, so I have a family member who's sick or who's been hurt, could you pray for them? They say one prayer is good, but the more people you have praying for this one individual, the better. So if you have one person praying for their health and well-being to improve, 100 people praying for that person's health and well-being to improve is even better. And so all those prayers and positive thoughts and requests to God or Jesus, Allah, Buddha, to ask for a positive outcome for this person becomes more powerful because there's more people making that request for that individual. That's how the collective consciousness works. The more of us that are aware of our connection to each other, and the more of us that project this positive thoughts for a positive outcome, whether it be for the health of one person or a city, or a politician, for the planet, for animals, for sea life, for nature, trees, the more people you have projecting energy for the health and well-being of those things, the better the outcome. Okay, so if you think about, so now we have these people thinking positive thoughts. Well, what about the people thinking negative thoughts? So these people projecting negative thoughts to the health and well-being, whether it be of an individual or of nature, trees, animals, sea life, if you have somebody, one individual or a number of individuals projecting negative energy towards those positive thoughts, it's kind of dampening that light. I've said that you dim the light. So it's countering that positive energy, okay? So we have this duality, this push and pull, this ebb and flow of the positive and the negative polarity. So right now, or what has happened, is that negative polarity and the positive polarities have diverged, they've separated. And as a result, the negative polarity of this world, on this planet, as I have said, those who have chosen the negative polarity will incarnate on other worlds. They will no longer incarnate on Earth. Therefore, that negative polarity has created its own collective consciousness separate from Mother Earth, separate from Earth, separate from the positive polarity, the balanced polarity here on Earth. And in that endeavor of holding on to that negative polarity, they are creating a future for them on that path of that negative polarity. And as they project this negative energy, they are manifesting through that negative energy the world that they will incarnate on. Okay? Just like as I project positive love and light energy, and I have friends that project positive love and light energy for someone who's struggling right now, and we can affect the future outcome, the health and well-being, through our prayers and through our meditation. This negative polarity is doing the same thing in a negative direction, okay? So they will incarnate on a world that is still 3D, 4D, or not ready to move into 4D, or not ready to move into fourth density, fifth density. They will still be in that push and pull of the positive and the negative polarity. They are not ready to move out of that. And therefore they will incarnate on a world that gives them the opportunity to grow spiritually and become aware of the choices that they make to embrace that negative polarity, until they have come to a place where they can move back to center and emulate that energy, okay? And it's not until they are ready to sit in that place of the center of balance that they will be ready to transcend. This isn't punishment, this is more education. They need to learn more about the self and the journey on this material plane, the journey of the soul, and move into balance. Move back into balance, because we're all born, the soul is born in balance. The experiences on the material plane move us out of balance. They're meant to move us between the negative and the positive polarities. And as we move and shift, we learn, we're educated, and we graduate when we learn how to reconcile the negative and the positive polarities and find balance. Okay? So now this positive polarity that has diverged from this negative polarity is inheriting Mother Earth. This positive polarity, this balanced polarity, is deciding the future outcome for Mother Earth. And therefore, our positive energy, positive thoughts, positive beliefs are manifesting the positive balanced outcome that we are seeking on this world, on this planet. Okay? So we will decide the future of this world. As a result, we are deciding the future outcome of this election, because this presidential election will decide how Earth moves forward, and it will release humanity from the slavery that we have been encountering. Most people aren't aware of that. Most people who have sought information outside of the traditional sources of news have learned and have been informed and educated on the secret space program, a more esoteric point of view a more generic point of view, not so steeped in what we're being taught, but actually a seeker mentality, and have learned about this and become educated and informed on this reality of the collective consciousness in a more authentic way, in a more realistic way, as opposed to what we're taught about prayer and praying together as a group, which is still steeped in dogma. Still has a positive effect and still is a beautiful thing, but it still has many rules and regulations that have been taught through the dogma of religion that are not necessarily beneficial for spiritual awakening and our spiritual journey. So we who are moving from a balanced place and a positive polarity are determining the outcome of the future of Mother Earth. And because this presidential election in the United States is such a huge component of the freedom of this planet, in allowing for the freedom of this planet, in freeing this planet, we of a positive polarity and a balanced polarity are determining the outcome of that election. Okay? So I have friends that I've talked to, and a friend that I just saw a few days ago who I had discussed this with, and I discussed it in much more detail on the one-to-one conversation. But what I essentially said was, there's a lot of concerns about fraud. There's a lot of concerns about manipulation, lying, all those things. People are concerning themselves that this negative polarity may prevail. What I'm saying to you is this negative polarity cannot prevail. The negative polarity cannot prevail because the negative polarity is manifesting its future on another world. It will not remain on Mother Earth. It will not remain on Mother Earth. And therefore, it cannot control or manipulate or usurp the will of our divine creator, the will of the collective consciousness that is now directing the future outcome of Mother Earth. It cannot overthrow the positive polarity, the balanced polarity. No matter what it does, no matter what it attempts, no matter the manipulation, the lies, the deception, it cannot override, it cannot usurp what we will to be, what we will to come to pass for this world. It's not possible. So I am encouraging people to just sit in a place that's centered and positive and envision the world that you hope to be, the world you hope to come to pass, the world you want to live in, and start manifesting that. Because what's going on right now is the final throes of this negative polarity trying to maintain control, but it's over. It's fizzling out. It's the remnants, it's the final remnants of this negative polarity trying to hold on. And it will not. I know it, I feel it in every fiber of my being. And so what I was asked to explain to you what I was asked to explain to you is that the divergence of the negative and the positive polarity was necessary to move to transition Mother Earth. It was a necessary component, and that is what this tribulation has been about. If you look at the world around you, if you talk to people, the polarity is profound. They are either on the left or the right. They are definitively white or black. They are definite color, not race. They are definitively blue or red. They are definitively liberal or conservative. There is very little middle ground. Okay? And so in that, I talk to people about this also. People are deeply steeped and they have chosen their path. It is highly unlikely that people will change their perspective at this point. So wherever you are, this is where we are, okay? So I had something come to me and then it went out, and I'm feeling a lot of negative energy coming in, not wanting this message to come out. So what I would like to just end with is just letting people know that this is not punishment. The people who have chosen this negative polarity to follow, this is just part of your soul's journey, and we all have gone through this. We've all have gone through events in our soul's journey where we weren't ready to transcend, and therefore we went to other places, other worlds, to finish our lessons and then drive forward. And so if you kind of enter this esoteric community and you talk to people who have said, I'm Arcturian or Pleiadian, they talk about these different energies that they've been, that tells you about that gives you an indication of the journey of the soul, because they weren't always these. People like to associate with Arcturians and Pleiadians because they're highly evolved, but we were not always highly evolved in that sense. And people perceive themselves as coming to Earth to help with this transition. We were not always in a place where where we can help others transcend. We have all started at the bottom and worked our way up. So it's important that for people who are confused or uncertain of what the implications of what I'm saying is to them, to understand that this is part of the soul's journey, that we go through these moments of shifting energy and finding our center and transcendence. So I would encourage everybody to just focus on looking within to find the divine self and allow that part of yourself, the higher self, to guide you, because God lives within all of us. Our divine creator lives within all of us. And that part of us guides us on our path. But we first must acknowledge that that we are spiritually divine. We are a product of our divine creator. We are not separate from God. We are part of God. We are God. We are a fractal. We are a piece of a greater whole. If God is the universe, if our divine creator is the universe, we are part of that universe. We are a piece of that universe. We are divine. We are a divine piece of that universe, and we are eternally connected. Okay? So start to see yourself in a higher light. Figure out what you need to do to see yourself in a higher light. And the first thing I'll tell you is forgive yourself. Many people hold on to shame, anger, bitterness, and resentment from their past. You first need to release that energy and forgive yourself for the things that you feel ashamed of or you're angry of or angry about. You also need to forgive others for things you're angry about, feel shame about, okay? That's a huge part of the journey of the soul, is finding perspective and finding your center after finding perspective. That allows you to transcend, because we all must meet the center. We all must return to center to transcend, okay? So that is, I'm just going to stop there, because whatever that thing was that came to me, it's gone. It's not coming back. And therefore, it doesn't need to be said. So if there's any confusion about anything I've said, please put a question in the comments. I always put links to anything I talk about. So I'll definitely put a link kind of giving you more information about the collective consciousness. And as I review the video, I'll figure out what else would be beneficial to put in the links. But please know that whatever happens November 3rd is the will of the divine, it's the will of the collective consciousness. And it's the will of those who are directing the path of Mother Earth from this point forward. The negative polarity is leaving this planet, this world. And as these energies pass the light, they will incarnate on other worlds. Those who have found their place in the center and live their life from a positive place of love and light and inspiration, inspired by the divine, will have inherited Mother Earth, and we are directing the future for this world. I think that's it. Thank you so much.